is the Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS show with John Impemba and James Grande.
What is going on, everybody? John Impemba here with James Grande. Welcome to the Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS Playbook Preview Show. We are here for Tuesday's 5-game NBA DFS main slate. James, as we've mentioned time and time again, we are approaching the end of the NBA season, so we're getting some lineup news that is tending to surprise some. Those of you who played the Monday slate, you were getting some very quick updating roster lock news as we approach the 7 p.m. roster lock news that someone like Scoot Henderson was all of a sudden not only just starting, but also with no minutes limit. Jason Tatum sitting out a game, actually, a rare occurrence there in Boston. Obviously, much more news to come, and that's just what we're going to have to deal with. This is a 5-game slate. We got a questionable Luka Doncic. Got Washington, who's already ruled out half of their starting lineup already here. So you got to stay by your phones. You got to get your alerts turned on. You got to be available for 7 o'clock to make sure that you have the right players in your lineups to be prepared to take down these slates.
Yeah, Luka's already been upgraded to probable, so we should have Luka back. Minnesota's second leg of a back-to-back. We'll see how they handle that. Washington, you've already mentioned it on the Monday show, but they've already ruled a bunch of guys out. Bilal Coulibaly lost for the year with a fractured wrist. Kuzma is questionable. Denny's out. So there a bunch of injury news that we're going to have to pay attention to. I do think that we only have one back-to-back, Minnesota. At least front. That's the only second leg back-to-back.
Yep.
So otherwise, pretty clean.
Yep. 5 games here. We got Charlotte, Orlando. Orlando's at home, giving 13 to Charlotte. 204 total there. Houston, Washington. Washington getting 6, 229.5 total. New Orleans, Brooklyn. Brooklyn getting 7 at home, 216.5. Dallas, San Antonio. San Antonio getting 8 at home, 233. And then Denver, Minnesota, the late night game at 9 p.m. Minnesota at home getting 3.5, 212 total there.
Let's get it.
Jumping into this main slate here. That's the wrong sheet. Let's see. Share this tab instead. There we go. Here we go. Looking at had my NBA bets of the night. If y'all got a quick peek at those. Point guard position. Luka Doncic is 12.5. Kyrie Irving just under him at 92. Fred VanVleet 86. Jamal Murray 83. You're rounding out your guard situation here. You mentioned Luka probable. 3 games against San Antonio is averaging 68 fantasy points. So if Luka's in, business as usual here. We're just plugging and playing, right?
Yeah, no problem. No problem getting him. Kyrie coming off the insane left-handed hook runner, winner, whatever you want to call it. And obviously the 64 was without Luka, but 53, 64, 54, Kyrie looks like he's in pretty good form right now.
Yeah, exactly. Anybody against Washington, is it difficult to play the other side of that right now? Because, again, Celtics won by like 30.
So, you can play value, right? Sure. Like, Jordan Poole still went for 40 in 3 quarters. So, there's, like, still stuff to like, but will your Houston get off in 3 quarters? I will say, they're bad on the road. You're going to hear me say it till the end of time. They're a bad team on the road.
Are they this bad on the road?
Dude, they're like 5 and like 35 on the road this year.
They are 14 and 19 against the spread. They are 9 and 24 overall.
That's bad.
It's not good.
That's really bad.
Washington at home is 4 and 27 though. And now they don't have any of their players. Maybe Kuzma. You know what? I'll take that back. If Kuzma is active for this game, then I think we're cooking with something. Because we know Kuzma is certainly capable of keeping Washington in, and Jordan Poole's obviously played a lot better. So, but you do have VanVleet there at 86, Jalen Green obviously at 81. Not the discount Jamal Murray in the middle. He's been playing out of his mind here as well. So, good 8 take here. Devin Vassell 73 again. It's a smaller slate, 5 games, so player pool shrinks up on you pretty quick here. What are your thoughts as we get to some value? Trey Mann now priced up above Vasily Micic at $5,500. Any interest in the Charlotte guards?
Mann's been pretty good.
Yeah.
Not like totally against it. Same with Micic. Just a really obvious brutal spot. Not my favorite. Totally. Suggs minutes kind of 30 minutes competitive games. Like you can get there if you want. Really good matchup, obviously, for Orlando. Can't trust Cole Anthony minutes. I don't think there's necessarily anything in the value tier. maybe we take a look at Jose Alvarado.
Sure.
That would probably be the one guy that now Herb Jones is listed probable. He went through practice. He's listed probable. So, that could have been like a place where we saw Alvarado maybe get a few extra minutes alongside McCollum, because we've seen McCollum, historically.
Yeah, around.
I mean, he was the 2 for Portland for how many years next to Dame, So I would say Alvarado's a decent little value in a pretty good spot.
Sure. Moving on over to the shooting guard position here. Anthony Edwards on the back-to-back at $9,800. A lot of these guys we've already discussed. Cam Thomas coming up for a really good game at 72, but a much tougher spot. Probably would be the one that dropped the Herb defense. Him or Mikal Bridges would draw that. Charlotte again in Orlando against Orlando is not a great spot for almost any team here in the league. Miller's there at 68. Jordan Poole up to 66 coming off of a pretty good game. And then we always talk about Murphy down here at 61. Always capable of going off. Another 20 fantasy point, 20 actual 37 fantasy point game.
Started in that game too, without Herb. So Herb's going to play. He'll go back to the bench, but he still has a ceiling. I do think there's some interest for me with Jordan Poole, kind of no matter what. Dude, he had played 23 minutes and took 19 shots and scored 31 points. Like, Jordan Poole is a freaking bucket. And this is the guy that, I was super high on. I was out front with Jordan Poole in best ball. I went overweight. Obviously, it didn't pay off. But if there's no Kuzma, like, we have to play Jordan. I mean, dude, they're going to get blown out, probably. Doesn't matter, because he's going to take 19 shots in 23 minutes again. And if they go in, they go in. I think Jordan Poole is a great play. Dennis Schroeder, we didn't really talk about, but he continues to be really solid in the mid-tier, 35 fantasy points last game. You mentioned Trey Murphy, always a tournament play. If guys sit out from Minnesota on the second leg of a back-to-back, which I don't expect because it's Denver, big Western Conference matchup here. I definitely would play someone NAW if someone was ruled out. And then the value tier, KCP, John, I've been talking KCP up for a while, 4,100. He's like a decent value. What do we got for Washington? So Johnny Davis played 22 minutes last game.
Mm-hmm.
Jules Bernard played 24 minutes last game. So either of those two would be firmly in play. Where's the other Champaigne brother? Make sure we don't click the wrong Champaigne in this.
Yeah, he is small forward only. He's 4,200.
Okay, well, we'll get to him in a second. But Jules Bernard and Johnny Davis are two guys that I think we'd have to look at, because, again, Washington already ruled out Tyus, already ruled out Koulibaly for the year. Denny's out. Kuzma's questionable. Omayuri's out.
Yeah.
Bagley's out. Like, it's just – so Davis and Bernard could be two guys that get mid-20s minutes moving forward, and two guys we got to take a look at.
Agreed. Small forward position here. Again, a lot of these guys we've discussed. Miles Bridges at 84, Ingram 77. Franz at 71, obviously in a really good spot for him. 37 fantasy points coming off that game. Mikal Bridges at small forward only at $6,900. Eamon Thompson, 59, could certainly be a bit interesting here. Just sort of given the matchup, thinking if this game does get out of hand, he'd get some run. Like, what are your thoughts for the mid in top tier for small forward?
I mean, you could obviously get to Ant if you want. Big game vibes. We talked about Ant's ascension on the Monday podcast. Bridges in tournaments for sure, but bad spot. Ingram tournaments. Franzito, 30 minutes, 31 minutes. He just doesn't play minutes. I don't know if they're like just gearing him up for the postseason, but he's just like low 30s right now for Franz. Mikal, no thanks. Brandon Miller, no. Michael Porter, and I mean, Eamon Thompson's great eligibility, point guard, small forward. Going to be mid-20s minutes, probably. Nothing more. I mean, even in a game where he has 20 and 11 with 4 assists and 3 steals, he plays 28 minutes. Like, he can't get extended past that, So seems like mid to high 20s minutes is like the likeliest scenario for Eamon Thompson. Herb is okay at 52. I do like that price. If Herb Jones makes threes, there is a high ceiling. But ultimately, like, Julian Champaigne is the play. Dude, he started.
Probably the highest rostered player on the slate, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, he started and closed, right? If you're going to start and potentially close in a blowout, there's no 4,200 is too cheap, especially back-to-back games with 8 and 7 rebounds, back-to-back games, multiple threes, back-to-back games, at least 3 steals and blocks, and double-figure points. So I would definitely get to Washington Champaigne. The San Antonio Champaigne has played 16 minutes last game and had 1 fantasy point. So again, they are literally $400 apart. Please, if you're selecting Champaignes, play the Washington Champaigne.
Yeah, agreed. Power forward position here, Paolo at 9K. Again, coming off of a really good game. Charlotte is not a great defense. I could see him having no problem in this one, averaging 40 fantasy points against them. It's all about how competitive you think Charlotte will be here against Orlando. Zion at 87. Did you see the quote from Zion there? It says he's lost 25 pounds since the play-in game.
That's incredible. Good for him.
Good for him.
He also, by the way, this is the best basketball he's ever played, and it's not even close.
I was gonna say, you get DeAndre Ayton to bed, and look what happens. You get Zion to lose some weight. Look what happens, right? He starts playing well. So,
dude, this is like you get this version of Zion in the playoffs with the Pelicans. I'm in on the Pelicans to begin with, but like if this guy is leading your team in the postseason, that's scary.
If you could have had a bet on an MVP and placed it on Zion Williamson, but got this version of Zion and not a different version of Zion,
last year's version,
who knows what would have happened there?
Hey, there's always the 24-25 season, John.
It's true. Amen. Hopefully he doesn't eat in the off season, right? Just
please stop, please.
Goes on like Man vs. Food, Zion edition,
Jonathan A. Smith, ladies and gentlemen.
Anyway, Zion at 87, locked in, love it. Jabari here at 69. We'll see what Naz Reid happens. I mean, if Gobert sits out or whatever on a back-to-back, we'll coming back from whatever he's been dealing with, so we'll see there. Kispert not on the injury report. He did not play. He did play rather 21 minutes in that game against Boston.
Yeah, it was just
And again, they got blown out, but I mean, he's a guy that could get hot. So
correct. No, for sure.
Isaac 41 did not play the other day, but got 20 minutes now in back-to-back games. Talk about a ramp up.
Yeah, it was management too. So it was they were just giving him a day off. 20 plus fantasy points in all 5 of these games that he's been extended. The blocks have been amazing. The 3-point shot has been amazing, John. I mean, he's making multiple threes in 3 straight games.
We're starting to see the guy we knew he could be, right?
Yeah. I mean, he's a very good basketball player when he's able to stay healthy. I still think Orlando would be very silly to extend him past 20 minutes, but we'll see. If there's no Kuzma, Patrick Baldwin's going to start, John. Another guy who started and closed. He's $4,000. That's probably where I'd have a problem playing like Isaac over Baldwin, because if Baldwin starts and plays 32 minutes, then I would just play Patrick Baldwin like for $100 cheaper. So Baldwin for me. We have not gotten the Pokashevsky minutes since in the last 2 games since I shouted him out. Of course, he hasn't been terrible, but like, why do we randomly give him 27 minutes and then don't give him minutes the next couple games? That's super annoying.
I do like he got 21 at least, but I mean,
it's fine. The 20, but like where 27 to 21, like hello.
Yeah, I hear you. Center spot over here. Nikola Jokic is 12-1. Again, no reason not to play him. We say it all the time. Obviously, not a great game against Dallas in a competitive game. 44 fantasy points is not what you're looking for there. 50 or fewer now in 4 of the last 5. Again, not great. But he did go for 94 against Toronto, so you know what the ceiling is. We're all just going to plug Wemby, though, for good reason. He is 10-6. They bumped him $300 after he went 33, 15, 7, and 7. They looked at that and they said, you know what? $300.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm just gonna click the button.
He was like 40% in the big 15 too. So like, there's just no scenario where he's not moving forward. That he's not, especially if, like he played 36 minutes. There's no scenario where he's not like 40% like every slate.
Agreed, 100%. Nick Richards, Wendell Carter will battle off each other here. Nick Claxton is 66 in the mid tier as well. Anybody else for you?
Do we? No, Rashawn Holmes 47. He's been super disappointing, and the Bulls game was terrible for Holmes. He was in foul trouble for most of the game and just could get no rhythm. Boston. I mean, 16 fantasy points in 19 minutes. Yeah, but that's fine. But it's Boston, so Probably
Grant
not.
Williams still getting some run here.
Yeah, Grant is okay. PJ, like low floor on this team. Gafford's interesting. He's gonna start again, play. He's gonna like outpace Lively.
It's
in minutes.
hilarious. It's the OKC game. He just dominates 19-15
Yep.
in that
Well,
game.
no Luca in that game,
Right.
right? Where and he ruins his streak in that game too.
Yeah.
And now, so yeah, not like a lot down here at center.
Agreed. All right, 5 games, quick show. Let's get a lineup. Wemby's already plugged.
Oh, you know what?
Champaigne.
This is interesting.
Sure.
The 2023 Tristan Vukcevic for Washington.
Mhm.
He was in, I think, the Euro League.
Yeah.
Signed his deal with Washington and is not on the injury report. Just given what Washington is, would it surprise me if he started?
If he
No,
starts,
I'm serious. Like
if
if
he starts, we'd probably give him a look. Otherwise,
yeah.
I'm
just saying. 3K was a draft pick of theirs. Like,
yeah, they convinced him to come over for, and he was like, "Yeah, sure, why not? Let's let's do this dance line. Let's go Isaac here." What did Baldwin end up playing? Was Baldwin getting minutes?
Yeah, Baldwin played 31 minutes. That's the reason he took 11 shots. I would rather play Baldwin if I had to pick between them. If I don't have to pick, just play them both, and that's fine.
I'll do that for now. Kuzma coming back could maybe disrupt that, but they could also just play Kuzma at the 5. So
yeah, that's true. On the Baldwin front, that's true.
Where's your Johnny? You want Davis or Bernard?
I'd rather neither, but
we're jamming Lucas. We got Luka Wemby lineup going here. So
I mean, Davis is the former lottery pick, so maybe lean towards that. He looks terrible though.
Now we're at the 5K a play. You like KCP, that works. 54.
What other value? Just plug Isaac.
68. And then Jordan Poole. Look at that. Love when a plan comes together.
It's not a plan. That's disgusting.
Luka Doncic, Donnie Davis, Justin Champaigne, Patrick Baldwin? Paul Baldwin?
Yeah,
Patrick Baldwin. Victor Wembanyama, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Jonathan Isaac, Jordan Poole, $200 left over. I'm on the playbook, so I get to dig through all of this mess for you guys. But we'll be back live at 5 p.m. Eastern time to get it all updated and ready for you guys here. Till then, get us in the Discord. Find us on Twitter, and we'll catch you all guys later.